Taiju finally decides it's time to tell Yuzuriha how he feels, but right before he can, a strange light flashes across the sky and ruins everything. He tries to protect her, but both of them end up turning into stone. The light doesn't stop there. It spreads everywhere and turns all of humanity into statues. Time moves on, and while stuck in stone, Taiju keeps thinking. He remembers those birds he and Senku saw that had already turned to stone, and it starts to make sense. Even though he has no idea how long it's been, he promises himself that one day he'll confess to Yuzuriha properly.
What's that weird light?
So dark!
I can't move!
Civilization breaks down as the years roll by, but eventually, Taiju wakes up. He follows a river, finds Yuzuriha still frozen by a tree, and sees a note left by Senku. Not long after, he runs into Senku himself. Senku explains his plan to bring humanity back, and together, they team up. Their first step is food. Taiju gathers what he can, even if he's not sure what's safe. Soon, he finds Senku working in a cave, collecting nitric acid. Senku thinks that's the reason they woke up, and he wants to test it more. He asks for alcohol, and luckily Taiju knows where to find grapes. They make wine, distill it, and after many tries, Senku finally creates the revival fluid. They're about to free Yuzuriha when a pack of lions shows up. Since neither Taiju nor Senku can fight, Taiju suggests they revive Tsukasa, an MMA fighter. Tsukasa takes out the lions with ease, and then asks for a knife to make use of the meat. After that, they head back to Senku's hut, and later collect seashells on the beach for calcium carbonate. That night though, Senku learns Tsukasa doesn't share his dream. While Senku wants to revive everyone, Tsukasa only wants a world with pure people, and from there, their clash begins. Taiju accidentally spills the secret about the Cave of Miracles, since he never caught Tsukasa's real plan. Senku quickly plays it smart, pretending they don't have enough nitric acid, so Tsukasa won't see how the revival fluid is made. While Tsukasa is away, they act fast and bring Yuzuriha back. Right after, Senku asks the two to choose, run and live quietly, or stay and fight Tsukasa. They choose to fight, and Tsukasa shows up with more nitric acid. He drops broken statue pieces, making Taiju realize what kind of guy Tsukasa really is. Taiju charges but refuses to hit back, since fighting isn't his thing. When Tsukasa threatens Yuzuriha, Taiju shields her, but Tsukasa just warns them to stay out of his way and walks off. Senku then suggests making gunpowder. The group pretends to escape in fear and heads for Hakone, guided back on track by the great Buddha of Kamakura. Senku fixes the last stone on Yuzuriha's foot, and she feels relief. Meanwhile, Tsukasa knows they're after weapons and chases. At Hakone's hot springs, Taiju and Yuzuriha talk about the future while Senku cooks up gunpowder. Both Senku and Tsukasa know this fight will end with someone dead. After a gunpowder blast lights up the night, they try to signal others, but Tsukasa strikes back, capturing Yuzuriha and confronting Senku. Refusing compromise, Tsukasa snaps Senku's neck. Taiju and Yuzuriha grab Senku's body.
Just kill me in one blow.
I'm going to sever your cervical nerve. It'll be instantaneous.
Something's wrong.
Throw gunpowder to cover their escape, and use revival fluid on a stone piece left on his neck, hoping he'll come back. In a flashback, Senku's revival is shown. Right after waking up, he notes everything he can, then gets to work on the basics of survival. He figures out the new date and carves it into a tree, then struggles to make fire. After failing with simple tools, he learns to shape stones into tools, uses them to make rope, builds a bow drill, and finally creates fire. Soon after, he makes clothes out of deer hide to keep going. With survival handled, Senku turns his focus to breaking petrification. Back in the present, Senku is revived, but the trio decide to keep his return a secret. Taiju and Yuzuriha go back to Tsukasa, while Senku searches for the person behind the signal fires. Tsukasa finds the girl first and pins her under a tree, but Senku frees her with pulleys. She brings him to her village, where he shows off science and meets Chrome, the local sorcerer. Their little contest ends with Senku on top, and Chrome reveals he's been gathering materials to cure Ruri, the chief's sick daughter. Kohaku, Ruri's sister, joins them, and they plan to make antibiotics. They gather iron, meet Suika, and try refining metal but fail. To get help, Senku makes ramen. Terrible, but enough to recruit workers. Gen, a spy from Tsukasa's empire, shows up but plays both sides. Senku pushes forward, building a power plant, glass, and a lab, with craftsman Kaseki. Finally, he and Chrome risk their lives to collect sulfuric acid for the medicine, just as the grand bout begins. The grand bout was coming up, and everyone knew Magma would likely win. If that happened, the Kingdom of Science's plans would hit a wall. So, the strategy was simple: cheat however possible, and push one of their own to victory. Kinro looked like the best bet. The kingdom lined up their fighters, Kohaku, Kinro, Jinro, Chrome, and even Senku. Suika and Gen pitched in here and there to tilt the matches in their favor. Still, most of their tricks either backfired or barely worked. The games turned messy, but the group stayed sharp, and against all odds, they pulled it off. In the end, it wasn't Kinro or Kohaku who claimed victory. It was Senku himself, shocking everyone. By the rules, Senku had to marry Ruri on the spot. He went through with it, but only for a few minutes. Right after, he divorced her so he could get back to business. The villagers wanted a big celebration, but Senku wasn't about to waste precious time. The outcome worked perfectly for the Kingdom of Science. Magma was blocked from becoming chief, Ruri stayed single, and best of all, the group gained exactly what they needed, big supplies of alcohol and vinegar. With those in hand, they could finally move forward with creating the sulfa drug to save Ruri. With the drug finished, Senku gives it to Ruri. Her body fights harder, and soon she's back on her feet, running through the fields again. She then shocks him by saying she knows his full name. Ruri explains that her mother told her stories about Senku and his father, Byakuya. Senku realizes the truth. Everyone in Ishigami village descends from Byakuya and the astronauts who survived the petrification in space. A flashback shows young Senku and Byakuya. Byakuya dreamed of being an astronaut but couldn't swim. Senku built a training suit to help him, pushing him to reach space. Before launch, Byakuya promised souvenirs for his son. On the ISS, he bonded with the crew, including pop idol Lillian, when the petrification beam hit Earth. Using social media timestamps, Byakuya tracked its origin to South America. Some crew risked re-entry, landing in the ocean. Byakuya swam for hours to save them, showing his unshakable will. They built a life on an island, but over the years, illness claimed some of them. Before dying, Shamil thanked Byakuya for the ramen that once made him smile. Byakuya then created the 100 Tales, stories meant to guide future generations, ending with a message of trust to Senku. Back in the present, Senku visits Byakuya's grave and quietly thanks him. Soon after, Gen delivers news. Tsukasa and his army are coming. Senku doesn't flinch. Instead, he grins. The time for science versus strength is here, and Senku is ready for war. During the village celebrations, Kinro spots something off and tells Ginro to warn everyone. At the same time, Gen warns Senku about a new fighter revived by Tsukasa, Hyoga, someone just as dangerous as Tsukasa himself. Soon after, the Empire of Might attacks the village under Hyoga's lead. Kinro takes down regular troops with ease, but Hyoga overwhelms him and leaves him hanging off a bridge. Kinro begs his brother to cut it down, but Ginro can't bring himself to do it. Senku then pulls a classic bluff. Using a blowpipe, dirt, a wick, and their last bit of gunpowder, he builds a fake gun. With Magma tossing a rock at just the right time, it looks real enough to scare Hyoga's group into retreating. Hyoga, impressed, realizes Senku is alive and even believes he's crafted firearms. Gen warns they'll return during a storm, so Senku prepares, making Kinro glasses and building new weapons. When Hyoga strikes again, the villagers counter with freshly forged katanas. With their new blades, they slice through the Empire's crude weapons. Hyoga himself steps up, fighting Magma, Kohaku, and Kinro all at once, but Gen's sabotage causes his spear to break apart. Hyoga isn't finished, though. His lieutenant, Homura, sets the village on fire and drives the people out. Later, they chase Suika, but run into poison gas. Senku pretends the gas is his own creation, scaring Hyoga into testing it on his men. After losing soldiers, Hyoga retreats to inform Tsukasa. Despite losing their homes, Kokuyo declares it a victory, the first win in the war. To win against the Tsukasa Empire, Senku sets his sights on something wild, a cell phone. Step 1 is gold wire, but they test with cotton candy first to avoid wasting resources. Even Homura, left behind as a scout, gets a bag. The cotton candy's rough at first, but they fix it with a steady spinning gear. Soon, even the kids and elders pitch in, spinning gold wire while Chrome and Kaseki build a water wheel, giving the village its first taste of renewable energy. With batteries and working light bulbs, they even celebrate Christmas with glowing lights. Chrome later explores caves with new headlamps, while Senku and Kaseki attempt vacuum tubes. Their bamboo filaments fail, but Suika finds tungsten by accident on New Year's morning. With that, they mine deeper, and after a scary fall, Chrome saves Senku and Magma, forging a new friendship. They return just in time for Senku's birthday, and finish assembling the first phone. Chrome and Ruri make the first call in the stone world, followed by Byakuya's hidden record message and Lillian's song. Gen realizes her voice can sway Tsukasa's soldiers. Gen, Magma, and Chrome carry the second phone to Tsukasa's territory, distracting Homura long enough to escape. Eventually, the team plants the device at Senku's fake grave, where Taiju and Yuzuriha discover it. Nikki, one of their guards, becomes their first recruit after hearing Lillian's song, but Chrome gets captured by Ukyo, forcing Senku to escalate. With war close, he unveils the kingdom's newest weapon, a steam engine. To rescue Chrome, Senku upgrades the steam engine into a tank by layering plastic and paper into carbon fiber armor. Meanwhile, Chrome refuses to sit and wait. He cobbles random junk together, escapes his cage, and tricks his clueless guard. Back at the Empire, Ukyo overhears the phone trick, but plays along, demanding one condition: no one dies. He'd seen Yuzuriha carefully rebuilding broken statues, and realized the kingdom truly wanted to save everyone, giving him hope. With Ukyo's quiet support and the tank finished, the kingdom plans to storm the Cave of Miracles in just 20 seconds, aiming for a bloodless win. But before they can act, Tsukasa and Hyoga arrive, destroying Gen's deception. A new fight breaks out around the cave. To protect the scientists, Senku gambles on chemistry, creating nitroglycerin, an explosive strong enough to even the field. Using it as leverage, Senku negotiates a ceasefire with Tsukasa, offering a deal. They'll work together to revive Mirai, Tsukasa's younger sister. The reunion softens Tsukasa, but tragedy strikes fast. Homura escapes, the Cave of Miracles explodes, and Hyoga betrays Tsukasa, stabbing him through the lung. With Tsukasa bleeding out, Senku joins forces with his old enemy. The two fight side by side, defeating Hyoga in a brutal clash. Hyoga and Homura are captured, but Tsukasa's wound is fatal. In his final moments, he reveals where all the smashed statues are hidden. Senku promises to save him someday, not with medicine, but with the power of petrification.